Welcome to Lead Where You Live, Tucson Voices in Leadership. I'm Jamie Leon-Guerrero.
And I'm Raysun Frost. This podcast is all about real people leading with heart in our community.
We believe leadership isn't about titles, it's about action. And Tucson is full of people making a difference in big and small ways.
Join us as we chat with inspiring voices who are showing up, stepping up, and shaping Tucson's future.
Let's get into it. Good morning. I'm Jamie.
I'm Raysun.
Hi.
And I'm Precious.
And welcome to Lead Where You Live. Our first episode is with Precious Craig. She is a Lead Tucson class of 2023 alumni, best class ever. And Precious Craig is a first-generation Nigerian-American who moved to the U.S. at a young age, embracing both her heritage and the opportunities that shaped her journey. She is a third-year PharmD MPH student at the University of Arizona and now serves as the SNP, what is this?
SNPhA.
National President-elect. She co-founded and served as president of the University of Arizona's
Local
Say
chapter.
again?
Yeah, SNPhA chapter.
And
SNPhA.
I know. SNPhA? Is that how you say it?
SNPhA. Yeah.
Okay. And has held multiple national leadership roles, including SNPhA National Region 5 Facilitator. She launched a Black Health Fair in Tucson to address healthcare disparities and helped facilitate SNPhA's collaboration with Mexona for health clinics in Mexico. Honored as one of Tucson's 40 under 40 at just 21 years old, Precious is passionate about the pharmaceutical industry and advocating for underrepresented communities. She also coaches track, enjoys boxing, Olympic weightlifting, photography, and cooking. Thank you so much for being here, Precious.
Of course, it's my pleasure.
So Precious, can you tell us, where does your name come from?
So my name, Precious, I'm actually Nigerian. So one thing about Nigerians is they're very prophetic about their names. So my mom went with Precious, but I know that one can be a little basic, but my middle name, Taiwo, actually comes from Nigeria. So I'm part of the Yoruba tribe. So in Nigeria, the older twin in the Yoruba tribe is Taiwo, and the younger twin is Kainde, and Taiwo means go and taste the world, because the Yoruba parable is that Taiwo and Kainde were in the womb together, and Kainde sent Taiwo off to go and taste the world and report back. So that's a little bit about what my name and middle name both mean.
Nice. I forgot.
That's
You were
really
saying.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
And you mentioned, your thing that you love cooking, is that, was that part of the prophetic, thing that, you were named that and therefore?
I hope so. It's actually my dream one day to open a chicken wing restaurant, so I'm hoping that that correlates over. I would say I'm a pretty good chef overall.
Well, you'll have to cook something for us sometime.
Yeah,
I know.
definitely.
That's so awesome. I'm already smiling so big. So, Precious, where do you live in Tucson, and what do you love most about that area?
Where I live right now in Tucson, I actually live about 5 minutes from the U of A, so pretty central to Tucson. In terms of where I live, I'm kind of right off of Campbell, that stretch where there's a bunch of food places. So I would say right now what I love most about where I live is the proximity. I'm a big walker, so there's also an Albertsons in that complex. So I really love that if I'm having a day where I'm feeling motivated and want to exercise, I can walk around the neighborhood a little bit, walk to Albertsons, get some groceries, walk to Dilbert, Flower Child, all of those types of places. So I would say right now one thing that I really, really love about where I live is the access to the different food choices. There's a wide variety, and then if I walk maybe about half a mile further, there's coffee shops, cartel, stuff like that. So yeah.
I am familiar with the area. I'm I would love living there.
Yeah. Pretty nice.
And your cooking and food theme continues. I love it.
Yeah.
So you mentioned Albertsons. So what is your favorite thing to purchase when you go, if you're I'm in the mood to cook? What do you grab from Albertsons?
Yeah, my go-to, it's a little big back, but it's a seafood boil. So I'll go to Albertsons. I'm always on the lookout for their little coupons. Sometimes they'll have a deal where the snow crabs are $8.99 or $9.99. So I'll grab some snow crabs, some potatoes, some shrimp, because usually when the crabs are on sale, the shrimp are on sale too. I'll get a bunch of stuff for the seafood boil and put that together. My next favorite thing to make is their St. Louis style ribs. They always do a deal every 2 or 3 months where they'll have the ribs on sale for like 1.99 a pound. So usually those racks of ribs are like $15, but I could get them for like $5 or $6. Funny fact, one time I actually asked a bunch of my friends for their phone numbers and to download to download the coupon on Albertsons. I kid you not, I bought like 12 racks of ribs and I put it in my freezer so that I could make it. And I had like a bunch of ribs for the summer and I was like, I paid my friends back. I would season the ribs, like put the mustard binder, everything. And then I would make them the ribs and like drive it to them since they helped me with the deal. So I would keep one for myself and then make one for one of my friends.
I love that you use mustard as like part of like you
Yeah.
said, sometimes I just use mustard almost like a marinade with like seasonings.
Yeah.
I learned that trick a long time ago. I don't know this. I'm sure there's a science behind it, but it works for like a lot of meats.
Yeah, it's a really, really good binder.
Yeah.
I'm ready for your cookbook.
I know. Also,
Yeah.
I really want to do it. Like everyone has been telling me, get on TikTok or Instagram Reels and make a cookbook. So it's really my goal to like maybe launch that sometime in the summer or this fall. So
I envision your cooking, your love of cooking, and your photography coming together. Can you see all those amazing photos and just like the way you capture? Like I think like that would be awesome. Also, I love ribs. I can't eat your seafood boil, but you also have my cell phone number. I will gladly help you with coupons. I live only about 10 minutes away from you, so okay.
I will definitely make you some ribs. I'm saying it now. I'll make you ribs.
Nice.
Can you tell us something that most people don't know about you?
I would say something that most people don't know about me. I feel like a lot of people don't know that I'm a twin, but I feel like I mentioned it earlier in the podcast. But yeah, I'm a twin. I think something nice about me and my twin is we're very, very independent people. So I think even Jamie, when I went through the GTL lead class with you, I feel like it's possible that it never even came up that I was a twin because I was just in the class the entire time by myself and I mean, I talk about her, but we're just something I like about our relationship is we're very independent people. So yeah, a
Yeah,
lot of people don't know, but I have a twin sister.
probably in your accountability group, right? Because
Yeah.
you might have shared that, but I think, and you're right, in the classes in general, I don't thank you for sharing that piece. I'm glad you
Yeah.
asked that question and you took it to your middle name, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's awesome. So, how does leadership show up in your personal, professional, and Tucson community life?
Yeah, I would say, ironically, leadership shows up for me very naturally because a lot of the times I like to call myself a certified yapper, but a lot of the times I end up just like yapping and talking to people and it somehow transcends into leadership. When I won 40 under 40, part of the reason that I won it was because of my involvement in the community. I've always been passionate about giving back and making a difference specifically in the Black communities. I just started getting a little bit more involved. I was doing work with like a lot of underserved youth at the time, and they didn't even really see me as like somebody that was superior to them or somebody who was like in college getting my degrees. They kind of just saw me as that very relatable and personable person. And then in terms of GTO, it transcends a little bit over because when I was at the College of Pharmacy, I really wanted to do something to, make a difference and make underrepresented students feel seen. So I started SNPhA at the University of Arizona, and it's a predominantly Black organization, but its mission is to just create a positive image of underrepresented pharmacy students in the profession. So we have over 100 chapters all across the United States, and I always say that it was kind of a safe haven for me because the U of A is a predominantly white institution, and it really gave me an opportunity to be around other like-minded people. And then from there, I had the opportunity to attend like the national convention. Long story short, I ended up getting a national role on the board as Region 5 facilitator, where I oversaw all of the schools on the Western region. After that, I took it a step further, and I'm now the national president-elect of the organization. And then I'll take over in August as a national president. So yeah, a lot of it just had to do with me being myself, natural conversation, yapping my way through, connecting with people. Yeah.
I love that you've coined a term that I'm gonna have to take from you. Certified chatter, certified
Certified yapper.
yapper. That was
Certified yapper
certified
girl.
yapper because that is just so phenomenal. I think all three of us here are very much talkative people. We could totally meet it. I could totally see you trending with the hashtag certified yapper. it would be there. But also, I think you're a, like hashtag certified go-getter, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because really what I'm seeing is that you see a need and a way to either give back or to fulfill gaps, and you take action. And that to me is, a big part of being a leader is taking action, right? So,
And I will say though, Precious, like every time I see you out in community, like through our class, right? For me, my interactions with you, like you were there, you were present and you participated, but you weren't your Yapper side. I didn't see a lot. So I don't know, every time I saw you out after graduation in community or at like a community event, like I always like light up just because like I didn't see that piece of you in the class. So it's just like really nice to see all of this happening like for you and like just like cheering you on and like I just love seeing all of the stuff you're doing for our community and just your community, right? Like it's really cool to see that. And I love that again, maybe over ribs we'll yap together.
Yeah, yeah, and I think the weird thing is like from the outside looking in, people who don't really know me, they'll be like, "Oh, Precious is so quiet." But when I have one-on-one conversations with people, it's like I could just go on forever. But sometimes when it comes to the bigger settings, it's a little bit harder for me. But like one-on-one, three-on-three like this, like I could yap all day.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And part of that, you've already mentioned a little bit about how you give back to the Tucson community. You've talked already a little bit of how you give back related to time, your talent, but also you can tell us if there's anything related to your treasure or ties to the community that beyond what you've already discussed. What do you want to tell us more about?
Yeah, so something that I did through the College of Pharmacy was I always told myself when I got into pharmacy school, it was kind of a dream of mine to give back to the Black community. So we actually started a health fair at the College of Pharmacy through a local African American Baptist church in the Tucson community at Friendship Missionary Baptist Church. And then on top of that, I am like passionate about the younger generation. So one of the fundraisers in Tucson that I'm a little bit known for is the Girl Scouts Over the Edge fundraiser. And yeah, I have done it 2 times, probably gonna do it a third time next year. But ironically, I was actually able to convince one of my professors from the College of Pharmacy to do it with me. I think not this past year, but 2 years ago. And that was just really cool because it's like I don't know anyone else at the college or any other student who could really convince a professor to trust them to rappel down a 17-story building together. Somehow I was able to do it. Me and that professor, we have like a really good relationship, and it was really cool to be able to do that. She was actually a former Girl Scout too when she was a lot younger, so it was really fun for both of us.
You have a really adventurous spirit.
Yeah.
Do you also, I mean, is rock climbing something that you've done before?
No, I mean, I've always wanted to do like the real rock climbing. I remember when I was younger, I would do it at like those rec centers and stuff. But something I have done is I've been skydiving. Rock climbing, that's still on my list. So yeah, I'm looking into doing that. I may need to drop a couple of pounds because I'm a little heavy right now, but because I know it requires a lot of like upper body strength. I remember I used to be
No,
able
it
to do
doesn't. Rock climbing
Really?
is people think it's your arms, it's your legs. So
Okay.
if you're like Olympic weightlifting, it's all legs.
Okay.
Like yes, there's the grip factor involved,
Mhm.
but once you get used to it, it's legs.
Okay.
It's all legs. Try it out. Like we can go to the indoor rock climbing together and it's all legs. If you're using your arms, I've been told that you're doing it like wrong.
Mhm.
I'm not a
Okay,
professional, so don't come for me. Who's watching?
My daughter rock climbs. Yeah,
All right. I'll
my
have to
daughter
try
rock
it.
climbs. Yeah, yeah. And I think that it's like originally when she started, right, there is that like inclination that you have to be pulling yourself, but it really, Jamie's right. It really is that you have to mostly use your legs. There
Okay.
is arm involvement, but if you aren't using your legs, then you're not going to be as successful.
Yeah.
I think it's just something you have to learn because our instinct is just to grab on and hold on to your life, right?
Okay. All right. Good to know.
Yeah, yeah. Well, take
Well,
some photos if you do that.
Precious, I'm remembering when we went through the class, we were talking about like how you're giving back to the Tucson community, but I specifically remember you doing a fundraiser for shoes. Do you remember
Yeah.
that? Do you still
Yeah.
do that? And
Yeah. Yeah. So
tell us about that because it's amazing what you
yeah. So it was actually through my boyfriend. He has a lot of ties to like Ghana and China. So we're both very passionate about giving back to the community. So he's actually very good at like getting like sneakers because he has a lot of ties to like local factories and stuff there. So yeah, he had started like a fundraiser to help give shoes to like children in Ghana, and he partnered with like some local people and like orphanages there to like order shoes and get them over to people in Ghana. So I think he's actually gonna try and do it again sometime in the near future. But yeah.
Yeah, I just remember I remember you telling the class about that, and I thought, wow, what a way to give back. So I wasn't sure if you're still doing that, so I thought I'd
Yeah.
ask.
Yeah.
Okay. So if anyone's interested, they can reach out to you if they
Yeah, for
want to.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And now you have mentioned pharmaceutical school, but you haven't actually told us yet why or how did you get, it's not cooking, it's not
Yeah.
photography, it's not adventurous sports. How did you end up making that choice?
Yeah, so this short story that's kind of like a joke in the Nigerian culture. There's like a lot of pressure, and if you've ever come across a lot of Nigerians, you'll see we're in fields like engineering and pharmacy and like medical doctors and stuff. And there's a joke amongst Nigerians where we say like you could be a lawyer, doctor, pharmacist, or failure. And I joke and say that I chose pharmacy, but in reality, I think because in Nigeria, things are so, the access to healthcare isn't really the best there, and people tend to rely on the pharmacist a lot. So for me, I remember always like hearing of family members who like maybe had asthma or diabetes and stuff, and they would always go to the pharmacy. And even growing up, my pastor and woman that I looked up to, my best friend's mom was a pharmacist. So for me, at a young age, it kind of just sparked an interest in me. And another thing is, I remember always like reading the labels on medications, and I came across acetaminophen once. So I was like, what is that? Then I looked it up. I was like, oh, okay, well, the science and chemistry behind medications is really interesting. And on top of that, I wanted to go into a field where it's sustainable. I would be able to support myself. I would have some financial independence. But for me, my passion for pharmacy probably just stems from being a first generation Nigerian-American and seeing how much people back home rely on their pharmacists to, have that clinical judgment and make medication recommendations.
Really ties into your giving heart, right? You have
Yeah,
a passion for helping people, and it shows up in how you spend your time and what you do, as well as your career choice.
Yeah,
I love that you
definitely.
mentioned that. Like, I've never looked at it from that lens before because I've had access to like doctors and healthcare and never really relying on like realizing that, ooh, my pharmacist could be.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. You're like,
Yeah, of course.
I've got thoughts now in my
Yeah,
head. I'm
for
like, oh,
sure.
I never looked at it that way.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But
And that actually kind of ties in to where we're headed next, which is our boundary breaker questions.
I'll go with how I'm most misunderstood. I think for me, looking on the outside, and if you don't really know me very well, I could come off like I'm very unfriendly or like I'm sassy, or I feel like a lot of things can just pop into somebody's mind when they see me. But I feel like there's a difference of people like looking at me from the outside versus the inside. Because, for example, I remember kind of even growing up in church, and I grew up Nigerian Pentecostal. And in that community and faith, usually you're very outgoing, you dance a lot in church, stuff like that. And for me, like, I was always a quiet kid. I wasn't the most outgoing person. So I kind of like never really danced at church, and I kind of just like stood in one place. So a lot of people equated that as, oh, Precious is unfriendly, or Precious can't like speak. She can't speak in a public setting, or she's timid, or oh, she's shy. So I think now growing up and people kind of seeing me in a different light, they're like, oh, you can do all of those things. I was like, well, I think it's just sometimes it just has to do with the environment that you're in, like I think another thing, like in those settings, it's like how many people really took the time to get to know Precious as opposed to, how Precious maybe acts in a church setting or in this setting or that setting. So I would say one of the things that I'm most misunderstood about is probably my personality. I mean, I think it is very fair to say that overall I am a woman of few words. But again, like I said, when I'm in the one-on-one setting, like, it's kind of a different vibe. Yeah.
Yeah. I think
I feel
there are a lot
like
of people out there like that who are going to connect to that, right? That like
Yeah.
big groups versus small groups, very
Yeah.
different. Yeah.
Definitely.
I feel like with you, and sometimes for me, that resonates with me. It's kind of like if you know me, you know me,
Hmm.
and if you don't, you kind of don't. You know, and like
Yeah.
I don't want to. And just like the circle knows like who I really am. Like I've got that nice circle. So yeah, I don't think misunderstandings. But I think we're all gonna answer. Our goal is to answer, all of us answer the question like how we did it at the retreat. I don't think I answered this one before. It's kind of hard. I feel like for me, I think I'm misunderstood. I think people forget I'm a mom. My daughter's going to be 30 years old this year. I had her when I was 18, but because she also lives far away, I think a lot of people forget that like I'm a mom. Like I'm just this, I think I'm misunderstood and just looked at like this single woman with no kids and, how would I understand any of that, right? I have to remind people, like, it was a long time ago, but like, I'm a mom. I did the single mom thing. Like, I still sometimes feel like I'm holding it down still like a single mom. So I think I'm misunderstood when it comes to like being a parent and how relatable am I to those around me who have children, right? Because mine's grown. But I think I misunderstood there. I think I wish people remembered that I was a mom and I kind of was really a good mom and I'm a great grandma. So like I love kids. Like I'm happy mine's grown and I can go do what I want. But like I love babies. So yeah. What you got, Raysun?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, man, I knew what these questions were ahead of time and I didn't even think about this one.
I know. I love it though. It's like, which one's she gonna pick? Like,
Keeping us on our toes. Okay, so I think I'm actually going to go kind of the opposite of the personality aspect where, I am very extroverted. I'm very talkative in lots of situations and I'll just start randomly talking to people in big settings and I don't think anyone would ever accuse me of being quiet. And so I think for me that creates this misunderstanding because I'm so active and involved and chatty with people that they don't necessarily understand that I'm a Tucson transplant and I don't necessarily have a large network of close friends, right? I'm still establishing those. I'm still creating those. So, I guess this is my call. If you ever do anything, invite me. I want to do more things. I want to be more involved outside of the big groups. And I think, yeah, it can be easy just with my personality because I am so outgoing and chatty and connecting to people. It's for them just to make an assumption that, oh, she's got her network and friends and she does all the, because that's what happens as adults. We have our we lean into these little cliques and groups that work for us. And when you move somewhere new, it can be really hard to establish those new connections. So I think that's where I'm most misunderstood.
Yeah. Right? When you're in those forward facing positions, right? You work with like the community all the time. You're also working Precious, and I feel like I'm looking at you guys like where you're on my screen and not realizing like you're probably not on the side I think you are on. People might think that, that's just a piece of who you are. And it's like, no, sometimes not. I really like my alone time too. Like I hike alone all the time, right? Like so that one was a good question, Precious. That was like
thanks. Yeah.
So we're gonna hit you with. We've got a couple minutes left. We're gonna hit you with some like real quick questions and just like top of mind. Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay. Sweet or savory?
Savory.
What was the last movie or TV series that you binged?
I think yesterday. What was it? It was Sisters, Tyler Perry.
Coffee or tea?
Tea.
How would your friends describe you in 3 words?
Cool, calm, and collected.
Ooh.
That. Yeah. She was so calm and collected in that answer.
I love it. Board games or video games?
Board games.
Do you have pets? And if so, can you tell us something about them?
I don't have any pets.
No one's judging you here at all.
Movies.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
A chicken wing restaurant owner.
Yes.
I'm down with that. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we need a better chicken wing option here. So, or if you're not in Tucson when this happens, like available to ship, like frozen, throw them in the air fryer with instructions, like air fryer for this long.
Yeah, the goal is to open one in Phoenix and then hopefully in Tucson. But probably when I even though I'm grown up already, probably like closer to my 40s or maybe retirement age.
Yeah.
You've got the food truck option, right?
Yeah,
I mean, that's
definitely.
a big thing here in Tucson that isn't necessarily what you have in other places. So
yeah,
I'll be waiting for the the precious chicken wing food truck.
Yeah, for sure.
So we're coming to the end of our session with you. Do you have any like special projects or events that you kind of want to promote or let Tucson know that what's happening?
Yeah, sure. So, as I said, I'm part of the Student National Pharmaceutical Association, and we're actually having our national convention in the beginning of August. So, if there's any pharmacy or pre-pharmacy students watching this, I highly recommend attending and registering to go to the National SNPhA Convention. It's August 1st through the 4th.
And
And
will
it's
it be
in,
held here in Tucson?
it won't be held in Tucson, it will be held in Cincinnati, Ohio. Yeah.
You'll be able to get away from the Tucson heat. Good timing.
And we'll have all of the links that you provided so if you're watching, you can follow Precious on her socials, and I'm sure you'll have all the links and information there.
Yeah, for
Sure.
sure. Yeah, definitely.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for having us, Precious. It was so great getting to know you more. And as the certified Yapper, you did excellent. I loved chatting with you and hearing more about your passions and dreams. And I look forward to seeing you in person sometime and getting a chance to taste your cooking.
Definitely. For sure. Looking forward to seeing you in person too.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being part of our episode 1 and for truly leading where you live. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
That's a wrap on today's episode of Lead Where You Live. We hope you're feeling inspired by our guest's story and the impact they're making right here in Tucson.
If you love this conversation, help us spread the word. Share this episode, subscribe on YouTube, and tag a local leader who should be featured next.
Because leadership starts with showing up, and we know Tucson is full of incredible people doing just that.
Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Lead Where You Live.